Welcome, everyone, to the Unhitched but Not Unhinged podcast with me, your host, divorce coach and mentor, Tessa James, and as always, by my side, my co-host, Susan.
Hi. It's time to tackle another topic and help bring awareness of just how valuable partnering with a divorce coach can be.
So, if you're simply thinking about divorce, already in the process, or even beyond, this podcast is for you. Welcome, Susan. Welcome, Dr. Madden. So excited that you're both here today. What a beautiful day. Have you all seen the sunsets happening? I mean, just absolutely stunning.
Gorgeous.
Here is a fun fact. Did you know that if you're a person that absolutely loves sunsets, you are called, and I'm going to, bear with me, I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly, opacarophile. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's just a fun fact. That's me. I absolutely love sunsets.
Well, I will learn that word then. So we've got Dr. Madden with us. Hi, Dr. Madden. Please meet everybody. Everyone here's Dr. Madden. Dr. Caroline Madden is a highly regarded pro-marriage therapist and infidelity recovery coach based in Los Angeles.
She is also an accomplished author and sought-after lecturer, specializing in relationship dynamics, particularly infidelity in marriage. Her books such as Fool Me Once, Should I Take Back My Cheating Husband? And Blindsided by His Betrayal, How to Survive Your Husband's Infidelity, provide criteria-based guidance for women dealing with just what to do in the aftermath of infidelity. She can be found at carolinemadden.com. And again, such a pleasure to have you join us. Thank you so much, Dr. Madden.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
So this is a tough topic, but it's a very necessary one. A research from Psychology Today and the American Psychological Association found that 20 to 40% of divorces are caused by an affair. The discovery of an affair may trigger a divorce, but there were likely problems in the marriage prior to the affair. Wouldn't you say, Dr. Madden?
I think that the infidelity is just the straw on the camel's back for most couples. And most couples, especially married couples with children who listed at a show, try to stay together for a period of time. They make an attempt.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And would this statement ring true to you, Dr. Madden? When marital problems are not addressed, unhappy spouses may turn to somebody outside the relationship?
Well, going outside of the relationship is always the decision of the person who went outside of the relationship. Mm-hmm. So a marriage has problems, right? It's marriage. And trying to solve the problems of a marriage by going outside the marriage is never a good idea. So is that an excuse people give? Is it that they are feeling trapped in a relationship where their needs aren't getting met, and instead of addressing them or divorcing or whatever, they choose to go outside the relationship? I call soft landing, so they don't feel like they're going to die alone, or passive aggressive acting out, or whatever it is.
Interesting.
Or come to the narrative that their spouse doesn't love them that way anymore and doesn't care about them, and maybe even know and are looking the other way. So it's always the decision of the person to go outside. There's no justification in cheating, is my opinion.
For sure. I would share in that opinion.
I agree too.
100%.
So in that same APA study, they found that 40%, and I thought this was really interesting. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I found it interesting was that, I think as women and girls growing up, cheating is just sort of like that one thing that will break everything.
That deal breaker.
Yeah, the deal breaker. And there are quite a lot of people that 40% of spouses that cheat wound up being divorced or separated, compared to 17% of people who didn't cheat were divorced and separated. So, and about 50% of the partners that did cheat remained married, versus 75% of couples where the spouse didn't cheat. So there is empirical statistics that show that cheating does have an effect on your marital and divorce status, but not always. I mean, there are people that have infidelity in their marriage and can remain together. I think that takes a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be the end all, but it's pretty significant still.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you might be mixing up cause and effect, which is a certain type of person who cheats. Is you can have the same couple faced with the same problems. One cheats and the other one doesn't. Or, I've been doing this for 20 years, saying couples all faced with job loss, special needs, kids in the family, whatever it is. And some people cheat and some people get closer, right? They turn towards each other. They turn towards, religious faith. They turn towards therapy books, whatever it is. So it's still that choice. So if you have someone who feels entitled to go rogue and entitled to get their needs met in such a destructive, terrible way, then that's also someone's married to, right? Versus someone who's like, I don't care what's going on, they're not cheating because it's just, an integrity issue or whatever, right? There are a lot of people who die at the hospital. So if you go to the hospital, it means you're going to die. And it's like, no, there are a lot of sick people going to the hospital, right? It's not that. So it's that. It's that the people who cheat, right? Are they someone who have sexual addiction, are a narcissist, or are they, like good people who, under stress and poor communication skills and family of origin issues or whatever, made a poor choice that even they regret? That they say, wow, I can't believe I did that. And that it's like a lesson to learn from, like when you hurt someone you care about, making amends, leveling, being a different person. Also, some couples are just so happy, like, oh, he cheated, but he's not going off with the affair partner, yay, that they just sweep it under the rug.
Right.
All roads, all fights, all for years and years, all lead back to, but you had an affair on me. Right? Or I will stay but never fully trust you again.
Sure.
That erodes things too.
Yeah, for sure. So, Dr. Madden, what are some things that look suspicious but probably aren't?
I'm talking about when infidelity has been discovered and the spouse comes and says, I'm really sorry, I want to work on it, and they're trying to work on the relationship. So these aren't signs your man is cheating.
Okay.
You want signs and sneaky signs that your man is cheating. I'm for that too. I can give you those as well. But what is it that you're asking? So I'm answering the right question.
Yeah, I think after infidelity, are you talking about after infidelity has been found?
I am.
Yeah, because like you said, all roads will sort of lead back to that. So, once you've been hurt, we're hyper vigilant, right? So, what should we sort of take back and take a breath and take a beat on without jumping on it like he's cheating again?
Well, and I think what you said there, Susan, is so important. Take a beat. When you find out your husband, the father of your children, has betrayed you in this way, it's like you're one of these souvenir snow globes and you're just shaken all around. You're going through trauma. And as we know, making big decisions like getting a divorce, what that does to your children and potential grandchildren, like you just taking a beat so you feel more like yourself. There's no rush on getting divorced unless he's like still cheating on you with other abuse issues, etc. But like you take a moment where you're just like, hey, I'm going to put the walls up. I'm going to thumb myself for a little bit and not worry if I'm getting divorced or not, like not to put all that pressure on you, on your. So the first thing that men do that are absolutely annoying and look suspicious, but actually aren't, is I call it the drip, drip, drip of truth. And that you kind of get the story and then more details keep dripping out. So, we were just friends. And then, we kissed. And then they've been at hotels for the last 3 years or whatever. Okay. It's that. So One, I know this sounds strange, but it is true. Men don't think this out, right? Where I've said this to Tessa many times. Women do. Women do think of the consequences to themselves, their financial situation, their children. They play chess in all of this. So when I say he really didn't think it through, the guys are like, yes, I didn't think it through. And the women are like, how is that even possible?
Right.
So he gets caught. And so his answer is to lie immediately, not tell the truth. That's very rare. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I think 7 men in that moment's like, oh, so glad you know. Let me tell you all of it. And
Right.
the thousands of couples I've had, it's extraordinarily rare. So a woman very much wants to know her timeline. Like, oh, I thought we were this couple, and now I found out you were with other women or whatever, right? I call it Sixth Sense. Like, we're old enough to remember the movie Sixth Sense. Spoiler alert for a movie that's 20 years, spoiler alert. But, at the end of that movie, you're like, what? And you have to replay the movie. Okay, so when a woman has found out that her husband is cheated, that is exactly the world she goes into. I thought we were here.
Right.
What life was I living in? Okay, so the man didn't think it through, doesn't have his lies set up, usually hasn't covered his tracks very well, and is just like wanting it to stop. To push away, I don't want to answer, more lies, deletes every single text message, which is such a bad idea. And it's the drip, drip, drip of truth. So you get the story, and you're like, okay, well, this story, this happened. I think with this story, I put it through my computer, and at the end, my decision is not maybe to stay forever, but stay enough to see if I can work on the marriage, to see if it's possible.
Right.
And then a new tale comes up, usually because women are the most resourceful people on the planet.
I
So
agree with that.
CIA, NSA, FBI, nothing has anything on a woman who's found out her man has cheated. Not only that, it's the hive mind. To tell every women at a Starbucks, help me find the info on this, and you'll have a village of women just right there showing you how to find out more information on the phone, right?
100%.
100%.
100%. Okay. So then the cat and mouse game happens where, oh, this is the story. She's like, I'm still sensing deception. She looks through stuff, finds one more detail, and then out drips more truth. Men do that because, one, they're cowards. They're scared. They're like, oh, is this going to be the detail that she finally leaves me? Right? All of that. But also men and women, when men have been betrayed, because I see them as clients too, when men have been betrayed, they don't want to know anything about the affair.
Right.
The thing they want to know is the details of some man defiling their wife and what hotel it was and whatever. So they're doing kind of the golden rule. Even he's asking all these questions and saying she needs all these questions answered. He's like, yeah, no, you don't. Because that sounds cruel.
Sure.
And to them, because they are men, the actual physical infidelity is like the worst thing ever. Why do you care about the details of, did you cuddle in bed? Did you say, I love you? Did she meet your mom? Like, why do you care about these things? And so for them, they're just making dumb men mistakes, but it is so crippling on the woman, just feeling like every time she has a sense of safety and maybe we can move through this and whatever, it's like, whammo,
It's
new
like
piece of action.
It's like being re-traumatized each time you find out a little nugget of truth. Yeah. Yeah.
You have to rerun it through the computer.
Right.
Right. Like I had a client who described it as like, hey, when you find out your husband's cheats, it's a hurricane that goes through your life. Right. You can't tell if this is the kitchen cabinet knob or the bathroom cabinet knob. It's kind of like everything is out there. So say it all then, because 6 months, because she will find out eventually, because these days of her not knowing, those days are over, bro.
Yeah.
Those days do not exist. She's going to look and she's going to find it. She better hear it from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that is so interesting. I like how you discussed the differences in telling the truth or telling your spouse, whether you're the husband or the wife. and how you tell them, and that a husband doesn't want to know the details. That's amazing. What are some signs that a cheating spouse displays when they're actually remorseful for what they've done? And how do you decide whether to give them a second chance?
Well, one, the word I would use is humble, right? Someone, your husband has made all of these stupid ass decisions. Can I swear on this, bro? Decisions, deciding what you needed to know and what you didn't need to know. And instead, just answering your questions, trying to get that timeline done, trying to be there, trying to show up, not like sometimes a woman will say, well, you did this, you meant that. And it's like that part he was actually telling the truth on. And so he wants to be like, that's truthful. It's like, you just have to be like, I hurt you so badly. I'm here to answer whatever questions you have because I've made terrible decisions. So it's being humble, and it's starting to see things through the eyes of your partner. How would this look? It's not business as usual where, hey, you used to, take a female coworker home from a Christmas party. That never was a problem. It's a problem now. Right. And so the things that they do is showing up that they hurt you. And instead of making excuses, instead of blaming, instead of whatever, it's just like, wow, I really hurt you and I blew it. And that the affair partner has been kicked to the curb. There is no healing, there's no remorse, there's no moving forward till that affair partner has been kicked out. I call it blockety block, blockety block. Okay, now, is it difficult when it's a coworker and all of this stuff, but that there is an honest effort of no more communication. And when that woman does communicate, he says, I know you're not going to be happy, but she's texted me. Here it is. How do we want to respond? Instead of like, oh no, I'm going to be in trouble. My wife is going to find out. Let me delete the text. She already saw the text. She already knows the text happened. She's just waiting to see if you're Shady McShader. She already knows this text happened. Are you going to come and be like, this text happened? She's been like, I know. And say, I know it's going to hurt your feelings. And we've been having such a great day. And I'm so sorry to do this to you, but how do we respond? That's incredible. Any sort of information he tells you about the timeline, before the timeline, any new contact, anything like that, that he did not reasonably think you knew or ever could have known, that is a sign of a man who's really ready to do the work.
I think that's number one, that the interloper is out and that there's transparency, true transparency. So,
and I think that may be a sign that your spouse is truly being authentic.
I agree.
In wanting to make the marriage work.
Well, and I'll ask women, I'm like, do you think the affair partner's out of the picture?
Right.
You didn't even know before that there was an affair partner. I know before you never thought you had a husband who would cheat. Like, I understand that, but what is your gut telling you right now? Is he still talking to her or not? And they're accurate. They're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you see it, you can't not see it anymore,
Right.
So let's touch on briefly, what signs should someone look for that indicate cheating will happen again? And you have mentioned a phrase, run, girl, run. I mean, when does a spouse run, and when do they actually really stay in the marriage? And when they do run, what does that even look like? I know there's a few questions in there, but...
One girl run is when they come to me and I hear definite traits of narcissism. I mean, everyone thinks that their cheating husband's a narcissist, but they're really, it's just like when you heard or discovered or was revealed whatever your husband cheated, there's a moment, it's like your life flashes before your eyes, your marriage flashes before your eyes. And so when saying like, has it overall been a good marriage? When women are like, I can't tell my family and friends, they're going to be crushed and brokenhearted because my husband was one of the good men, right? Just not everyone's going to be like, thank God you finally see it. Like, thank God, will you get out now? Right? So those are big things. the constant not doing the work. Just, why do you want to look at my phone? Well, what do you think I want to look at your phone?
Right.
Continuator behavior and any contact with the affair partner. Oh, going, we can just be friends. What do you want me to do? We're together. The blaming. Well, maybe if you did this or we had sex or like I wouldn't have had to cheat. All of that, turn it around on you is signs. And the number one thing is if you're not married and you don't have children,
Right.
right?
Right.
Even if you're married, go. Married with kids, consider staying. Again, the snow globe. Don't make any big decisions while you're on an emotional roller coaster. We all know that that's true. You shouldn't make big decisions like that. But if you're not married, go. Countless are like, oh yeah, when we were engaged or when we first this, he cheated on me, or and what do you know? He did it again. Like, oh.
Well, I think it's important to emphasize, and you had mentioned this, Dr. Madden, cheating is never the fault of the spouse. So when do you recommend, Dr. Madden, someone partner up with a divorce coach such as myself?
Whether he's a narcissist or not, now understand he's not on your team. Is not on your team. He was on a team with someone else. He also wasn't thinking about the impact to your children.
Right.
So that's really hard because as a loyal wife, you, your spouse, you believe in the best interests of you and your kids, except he's shown, no matter what the level of cheating or how much or whatever, such a bad judgment, right? So the person you would normally hopefully be able to turn to for crisis guidance, financial, what do we do with these kids? Okay, we don't know him anymore.
Right.
Not on your team anymore. But that you were primed to believe he is on your team.
Right.
And that's where, and people find it funny because I am a pro-marriage therapist when I say, I think it's time for you to meet with a divorce attorney, a divorce coach or whatever, because you had someone who was able to lie to your face at least once, if not multiple times, multiple people for years. He has an ability to be dark. You need a partner to help you see the way you can be manipulated, because you're going in, even though you've been devastated, but you're really like, oh, he can't be that bad. He's lied to you to your face and made you feel crazy, gaslit you, and all of this stuff. You need someone to give you a strategy, because I will let you know, men go into business mode. This is, again, men and women are different. Men go into business mode. They literally say to me, Dr. Caroline, I know I will always take care of my family and my kids, but they're going to be damned if they're going to be having to do it on paper. And that's usually used as a manipulation later if he doesn't like her dating other people, then it starts to reel the money in.
Right.
Women, I call it living in the land of regrets. Women, in order to be nice, or maybe he will come back to me, or maybe I've always trusted him to be a confronter, leave money on the table.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a few minutes left in the episode, so I just wanted to mention with some clients, I start forming a relationship with them before some have ever made that difficult decision to file for divorce. Most of my clients want me to help them strategically navigate what it may look like going forward and transitioning to the next chapter out of their marriage. It can feel so scary, overwhelming, and some of my clients that have been cheated on have a lot of anger, resentment, and they feel like they want revenge.
Yes.
Revenge
is very tasty, but not good for us.
And that is so understandable. The divorce coaches out there, but what Tessa, you do, you're a chess master. You see all of the moves before they've even been played in an amazing, like the Matrix type way, seeing the binary. Okay. In that, yes, it might be your answer is like, I'm okay with you leaving me for the affair partner. And understanding he feels guilty and he wants to give you more, or he really wants to be out of that marriage with you so he can marry the new person.
Yeah.
Right?
For
So
sure.
it might be not doing scorched earth. It might be, and again, this is Tessa's the expert. That's why you are who you are, is you see it all and the multi dimensions of how it could go. And people have no clue. It's your first divorce you're going through. You love this man. You can't believe he cheated on you.
You know, divorce can be it is a complicated thing.
Yeah.
There's so many facets of it. Infidelity is a terrible facet of it, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
It's a reality. And so while infidelity may not be the sole reason for divorce in California, it is quite a large part of it. And it can have an impact on the outcome of a divorce, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about right now.
Right.
And sort of just understanding that, playing that. And I think that if anybody is on this sort of precipice of having to make a decision, they may not decide to file for divorce, but I think they should consult a divorce coach to just sort of get a lay of the land. You know,
Yeah.
it's a highly emotional time. Getting an unbiased professional's opinion that's, you know, you haven't vested all this crazy information with your family and your friends and your coworkers. If you reach out to a divorce attorney, they can sort of tell you, hey, this is what you should expect.
Yeah.
And you can make a more informed decision.
I'm going to interrupt you, Tessa. There's actually a marriage positive reason to do this. The thing is, once you have a secret from your spouse who's been keeping secrets from you with infidelity and all of that nonsense, okay, and you are meeting with the divorce coach and beginning the separating from a we to an I, he went from a we to being a we with someone else. Okay, so going from the we to the I, you start to vibe differently.
Yeah.
And so the man who's clearly taking you for granted, because one of the reasonable assumptions is if you get caught cheating, your wife's going to leave you. I mean, that's like a reasonable assumption. Okay.
Right.
Something happened. He didn't think through that mix. And there you are loving and taking care of his children and trying to
Right.
make it all work. That when you start saying, maybe I don't want to be in this, you're not telling him, by the way, never say you met with the divorce attorney. Never, ever say you met with the divorce coach. That is a way of chasing him.
100%.
You need to do it all on your own.
Before I talk a little bit about the legalities of how infidelity affects like a divorce settlement, I think there's a disclaimer.
Yes.
Important to read
Always
that.
a disclaimer. So, the Unhinged but Not Unhinged podcast and content posted by Tessa James is presented solely for general information, entertainment purposes, and educational purposes.
Right. And I'm your friend and professional coach, not an attorney, here to serve you, and I've always got your back. So it's important to note in California, the process might be different from what many people expect due to the state's no-fault divorce laws. So even though the pain and betrayal of infidelity can feel monumental, it typically doesn't have a large impact on legal outcomes such as asset division, alimony, and child custody, although there are exceptions. So California is a no-fault divorce state, but what that means is that neither party has to prove that the other is at fault for the impact on the for the marriage ending. This includes infidelity. However, while cheating may not be the sole reason for a divorce, it can still have an impact on the outcome of the actual divorce settlement. So, one of the ways that cheating can impact a divorce settlement is through spousal support. And if one spouse can prove that the other was unfaithful, the court may take that into consideration when deciding on the amount and duration of spousal support. And in some cases, the court may even deny spousal support altogether. Also, infidelity can also have an impact on child custody arrangements. For instance, if one parent's extramarital affair is deemed to be detrimental to the child's well-being, the court may limit that parent's custody or visitation rights. And the court's primary concern is always the best interests of the child. And infidelity can be seen as a factor that could negatively impact the child. Folks, I have a real estate license in the state of California, and I can tell you adultery can impact property division. Property is divided equally in a divorce. However, if one spouse spent a significant amount of community property on an affair or gave gifts to the paramour, the other spouse may be entitled to a larger portion of the community property. This is because the court may view the spending of gifting as a breach of fiduciary duty.
It's a huge topic. Dr. Madden, do you have anything to add before we wrap up?
No, but when infidelities happen, he's not on your team anymore. And so you need to create a new village around you that has perspective, objectivity, has been through it. You have someone to guide you and be objective to help you get through what you need to hear and hear how your kids might be used against you and all of that. You need to know. And it can be a marriage positive thing. Just because you meet with a divorce coach does not mean you're divorcing.
That's right.
Right.
But it means you start vibing differently, that he needs to show up and act differently or you're out. Plus you feel so much less scared. Call a divorce. I mean, call Tessa. You will definitely feel less scared.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you're interested in chatting with Tessa, please go to www.trustintessa.com and book a complimentary discovery session with her. And don't forget to visit Dr. Madden at www.carolinemadden.com.
Have a positive and productive day. And remember, I've got your back.
She's got your back.